Welcome to another Lapis Guides Introduction to QGIS tutorials. Today we're going to be moving on from the data collection survey that you guys created to figure out who was going to visit which ecologically important areas of the country a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to turn that into a map where we can visually see which locations had more visitors, depending on if they were from Bishkek or if they were from elsewhere in the country of Kyrgyzstan. So there's a shapefile that you can download for Kyrgyzstan. I've got a spreadsheet on Google Drive that I'll share with you. If you're part of my class, you'll be able to add your information onto this spreadsheet, and then we'll make a full class data section right here. And then you'll download this whole file as a CSV, and then we'll do everything else. If you're not in the class, then you can just download the CSV file later on and work through the rest of this tutorial. So I need to finish filling in student number 3 here. These are just examples. So we'll just put in a few numbers. Great, so I've got some numbers plugged in here. Now I want to get a full class data set. All right, and it's going to be really easy. I can use some formulas to do this. Just put equals this cell plus this cell plus this cell, and that gives me that total number. I can drag this down, and I can also drag it across. And that will give me the totals of all of these columns put together. Okay. Great, so that gives us the full class data, but this doesn't do anything for us unless we have latitude and longitude. All right, so we've got a second sheet over here where we've got latitude and longitude. Okay, I'm missing one here. So I'm going to show you how you would figure out what your latitude and longitude should be. It's really quite simple. You can go somewhere like Google Maps. And if I know the approximate area, I can just zoom in where I need to go. Okay, so Soleimanto is in Osh. I'm going to zoom in there. Okay, and really this is the area that we're looking at, Soleimanto. And so any GPS coordinate here would be appropriate. I mean, really, honestly, we could even zoom out and have any of this would be appropriate for our mapping because we don't need to be super precise for this. But let's get a good location here. So we're going to copy that. I'll plug this in here. Make sure you take out any punctuation. All right. Good, so that gives us latitudes and longitudes for everything, for all of the different locations that we have. And then for Bishkek, we want to have the totals from here. And so what we can do is we can press equals and create another formula that basically just takes this from this sheet. All right, we can press enter and it brings that up. And again, we can just drag that square, drag it over, and there we go. All right, so this file is what we're going to need to download as a comma separated value. Okay. I'll download. Great. So let's bring that into QGIS. Great, so we've got our Kyrgyzstan shapefile loaded into QGIS. We've also got our class data CSV loaded in as well. All right, if you don't remember how to load in shapefiles or CSVs, please look at some of the past tutorials. Okay, so let's have a quick look at the attribute table here. You see we've got our locations. We've got 10 locations. We've got the latitudes and longitudes. And then we've also got, for people from Bishkek, right, how many people travel to these locations. And then people from within Kyrgyzstan, but who do not live within Bishkek, how many people traveled to those locations. What we want to do is we want to create a map that shows the different locations with how many people visited based on the size of the dot. All right, and we'll make one map for Bishkek and one map for people from outside of Bishkek. And so the easiest way to do that is to double click go into our style, our symbology, and let's change this to graduated. All right, we're going to choose a column, and let's start with Bishkek. Okay, and yeah, the symbol, I guess the dot's fine. And we're not going to do this by color, we're going to do this by size. Okay, so our size is going to go from 1 to 8. And let's classify this. But these numbers are a little bit odd, so let's make these look nice. Okay. And we'll change this from 1 to 5. All right, and let's add 1 in just in case there's ever a 0. Great. Okay, but we are going to go in and we're going to change this so that the symbol size is also 0 here, if there is anything that hits these values of just being 0. Okay, so let's click apply. Great, so you can see which locations obviously got the most travel from people that live in Bishkek. All right, you can see the places down further away from Bishkek that are less popular got much less travel. Okay, super. So let's really quickly, let's go into our print layout. We're going to, let's see, that's half right there. Right, so we want our scale to be accurate and appropriate. So I'm just going to make this look a little bit better here. Okay, and now I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it so that I get 2 files exactly the same. Okay, now one of these already has the correct information. This is my Bishkek information, so I want to lock this layer. Okay, and to do that, I just need to click these two checkboxes. Now I'm going to go back in here, and I'm going to click in this. I'm going to change this to elsewhere. Okay, click apply. And you'll notice I didn't change any of this information here. I don't want those to change. I want them to be exactly the same. And obviously you can see there's a big change in the amount of tourism that people from outside of Bishkek are even doing, but also where they're going. And some places just really don't get very much travel anyways. Okay. Now I'm going to go back in to my print composer. I'm just going to click the refresh button. This one changes. I'm going to lock that now just so that I don't accidentally change anything. Okay, now I can change my page size. I can create a title. I can put a key in here as well, scale bar if necessary, and obviously subtitles for both of these maps so that we know what we're looking at, right? We want to make sure that people know that this is a map of Bishkek travelers and this is a map of non-Bishkek travelers. The key will definitely be important information as well, but I'll leave that to you to design a map that you think looks nice.